On this episode, we talk to a hot dog entrepreneur about his trials and tribulations with trying to start up a hot dog business. And I mean, do I really need to say anything other than that? So let's hop on in and welcome to the flop. Welcome back to the flop, the place where we dive into business failure and hope to learn something while doing so. I'm your host, Wes Rissell, and with me, I have my two co-hosts, Tyler Cope and our newest member, Zach Janek. Boys, what's going on? How we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great day so far. But as far as my overall week has gone, I've been looking forward to this. So I have a bottle of energy about this story that I'm just carrying with me.
Oh, I'm super excited to open up that bottle and just see what comes out, Zach.
And I'm excited for a new co-host because Josh has let us down time and time and time again. And Zach is just ready.
I've had my resume in this envelope waiting for you for this moment right here. So I'm glad I don't even have to send it.
You don't even need it, Zach. You already got the job.
I'm in.
If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you listen to us through. Help us out. I don't know if you like listening to it, of course. If you don't, probably should stop the video right now. But anyway, let's move on. Boys, let's go to our favorite segment, our truly favorite segment this week, which is Fails of the Week. How did we fail this week, guys?
I have to make a decision between two major failures. I spent like 2 hours in the library rewriting all the text on my website, and I sat there for the longest time. And I got up and I left the library, and then I got home and I went to go open it up and my notebook was gone, which I had written everything down. Of course, I didn't digitize it. So my biggest fail of the week was leaving a notebook in the library and could not get it back.
Oh, so you went old school. You were actually like writing it down in a physical notebook. I was assuming like one of those Google notebook things.
I have to disconnect from the computer or I'll instinctively click and see which of my many social media sites I can get the dopamine from. So I have to physically close it and then pull out the legal pad and be like, okay, it's time to hammer it and go for it.
I wanted to get the second fail, Zach. I feel deprived.
Oh, man. The other one was pretty simple. I sent a really big email and I left the wrong name at the top of it.
How wrong of a name?
Oh, not even at the company. Like I started an email and then I was talking to somebody at the time and then I wrote their name at the top and then I went and I hit send. And then as soon as I went to go click the undo button, it was like, goodbye. Because that's how the undo button always works. As soon as you go to reach for it, it's like, no. Here's a thought question. What is the reasonable explanation for that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Like, if you respond quick enough, do they buy your apology? Like, what gets you out of that jam? Because I've tried lots of different things. I've done it a handful of times. I can't imagine an email that would really get you out of the jam except for, hey, Tyler, I'm sorry, I'm being held at gunpoint and he told me to put Brian.
Maybe you just resend the whole email with the proper name.
Yeah, I mean, at all points, I still think you kind of look like you have egg in the face regardless.
All right, Cope, what's your fail?
This was a painful one. I took a scuba diving lesson to get my open water certification these past 2 weekends, and it has been awesome. But what I found out is that you should absolutely not just scramble in the water, lose your regulator, the little thing that goes in your mouth, and just drink a gallon of Fantasy Lake water. I paid the absolute price these past couple days. Guys, it was painful.
Are we ignoring that you took a giant gasp of water and didn't drown?
This is where I didn't fail. I didn't take the gas way down. I took it on the surface. I think I was switching between regulator and snorkel, and I was like, on the surface. So, and then as I took it, I was like, God, I'm going to pay for this. I know I'm going to pay for this.
You should have just drank some bleach right after that, Tyler. That probably just would have killed everything.
Well, we talked about injecting sunlight last week, and now bleach. Spotify's going to love us.
All right. Well, I'll hop into my fail. Mine has to do with this podcast, because guess who forgot to tell their wife that the podcast was tonight? This guy, which, isn't a big problem unless you have like a 3.5-month-old that needs constant care and attention. I'm going to blame the fact that we were in Montreal over the weekend. I don't know if you guys have been to Montreal before, but I recommend it.
Josh has, but he's not here, so he can't tell you about it.
Enter Josh here.
Can we be sure that Josh isn't kidnapped? I'm actually kind of worried about him.
I did have a story where we hired a girl at the last sales job. We had a girl who was working for us. She had worked one day and then the next day she didn't show up. And just out of ha-has, I told my boss, I was like, you should check the jail logs. And she had gotten a DUI the night before.
No.
Swear to God. it was just like a ha ha ha, let's go check. And then we're all sitting on computers and we just looked it up and it was like, oh, there she is.
I mean, that's not an excuse. Why didn't she ride her bike? Come on.
Well, the story gets sad. She had no family, so my boss actually paid to bail her out.
On day 2 of working there and your boss bailed her out?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did she keep working for the company?
Yeah, for like a month, and then she bombed for another reason, which is really the ultimate flop.
That's the queen of fails right there. Queen of fails. So Bowman, what's your fail this week? Oh wait, you're not here. Okay, got it. There's the fail. There's the fail, Bowman. All right, let's go into the story here a little bit, Zach. So our new co-host Zach, he is the 2006 Time Person of the Year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, check it out.
Who won Time Person of the Year 2006? The choice of, it's you are the person. Oh, man.
But you have no idea how many conversation starters that has started, and every single time it's the same face where you're like, well, I guess.
I'm stealing it.
Fail of the week number 3. So I started my current business and I was really hesitant because I picked up 2 clients and I was like, I really got to fill this. So there's 2 restaurants by me. There's a Texas Roadhouse and there is a Bonefish Grill, and I applied for both. I need you to know I've been in sales for 10 years. I was a bartender for 8 years prior to that. I managed bars in Fernandina Beach and St. Augustine, Florida. I have run the gamut. I got the interview at Texas Roadhouse. They brought me in. She had a conversation with me and she said, I'm really sorry. I just don't think you're qualified for this position. And I was like, do tell me. And she goes, we don't hire people that haven't bartended in a while. And I was like, so what are you offering me? And she goes, well, you can run the to-go window for the first 2 months. And if you make it, we'll bring you over to the server position.
If you make it.
Wow.
It gets so much better. I go through the weekend. Monday morning, I wake up to a text from Texas Roadhouse that says, hey, Zach, we're so sorry, but we went with another candidate. So I need you gentlemen to know that at the bottom of my resume, I have my nonprofit work. And then under fun facts, it says, can build a motorcycle in under 24 hours, not qualified to work at Texas Roadhouse to-go window.
Zach, can I ask you this? If your own business goes crazy, would you ever buy a Roadhouse franchise as ultimate petty revenge?
Yep, that one. I aspire to do nothing with my riches but get revenge.
Well, Zach, I got to try this intro again. All right, so Zach is 2006 Times Person of the Year, a founder, a motorcycle enthusiast, and a marketing nerd. Mm-hmm. So Zach Janek, welcome to the show, and he's also the newest co-host for The Flop.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. I want to hop into a little bit about some of these failed businesses that you had. There's one in particular I want to talk about the most, which is the hot dog business. Mm-hmm. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about how you got started in the hot dog world and kind of what happened on that journey?
I had a big boy job and my wife was working in the server industry. Not saying that's not a big boy job, but I was working like a 9 to 5 and she was working funky hours. We had 2 kids that were in football on the weekends and she kept having to miss it. And I was like, man, a hot dog cart would do killer at this football place. So I started to do research and I got sucked into those. I don't remember what the website is. I meant to look it up, but it's like 1-800 how to make a hot dog cart work. I mean, it's some guy with some YouTube videos on the internet. If you want to make money in the hot dog business, Google it and his face will be everywhere. And you watch the videos and you're like, this is so digestible. All I got to do is buy his course for $150 and it'll teach me how to make money.
Coaches for everything.
Yes. So I became obsessed with the idea. I was like, this is what we can do. You can quit the server industry. We'll hustle this. We'll be at the thing. We can kind of both run it and then do it, 1 or 2 times during the week. We're going to make $1 million. I ran off to Facebook and I bought a hot dog cart as fast as I could possibly buy one. They're laying everywhere. They are in 2 conditions. Oh my God, how are you even selling that decrepit, rusted piece of junk? And B, I started a hot dog cart business and it failed, so I'm selling this to recoup my money. Do you see that interesting one right there? And that we should have all paid attention to it? I didn't.
How much does a hot dog cart sell for?
I want to say it was between like $800 and maybe $1,100.
Okay.
Yeah, we were 29-year-olds with kids. We did not have a lot of money.
So, you got this brand spanking new hot dog cart. You're like, let's sell some hot dogs.
No, I said, let's go through all of the legal paperwork and fill all of this out. All of this money with LLCs and filing them wrong and you have to get a certificate to hang. So I buy it and then I spend I'm going to say $500 on BS paperwork that had to be filled out twice.
It's a highlightable failure. Trying to start the business before you really made any type of profit or revenue.
Red flag number 2, we have seen now. I'm going to make a broad justification here, but I feel when I hear a young business owner say, yeah, I'm filling all this paperwork and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, have you sold anything yet? And they're like, no. To me, I'm always like, let's take 3 steps back for a second, brother. Like, I just want you to just try selling something.
But couldn't you get arrested in the food industry? Because don't you have to be inspected by the FDA before starting?
So you could, absolutely. If you were a restaurant or a food truck or something like that, could we have gotten in trouble? Yes. But it's not as dangerous as if I was flopping raw chicken on the side of the road and going, here we go.
Pretty low to the ground in terms of risk, right? Like you sell a hot dog to somebody, the FDA inspector is going to be like, hey, you got a license for that hot dog?
Yeah. What's in that hot dog?
Let me see those buns.
Fun fact, that was the name of my business, which I did register. I still get mail for Buns LLC.
And there's a Z, right?
No, there was an S.
Oh, Zach.
I know, I missed the opportunity.
You would have attracted so many of the youths.
Yeah, because Buns wasn't enough. I file all of the paperwork, and I'm like, okay, we're going to go bring it to the football fields. I am not even kidding you. I went down there, and I went to go talk to them, and they were like, oh, it's so crazy that you did that. And we walked out the door in this massive food truck, and they were like, we just bought a food truck. And I was like, wow, what great timing. And they were like, no.
Did they even sell hot dogs, Zach?
Hot dogs and frozen burgers. That's why concession stands at like baseball games and stuff don't have like hood vents, because it's all pre-cooked meat.
Hey, that's an insight into the food industry. We'll take that. We'll take that on the show.
So that doesn't work. At the time, I'm selling advertising. I call up a friend of mine who is working at a car dealership. She's a general manager. And I said, hey, this is my situation. I bought this hot dog cart. I'm kind of stuck. I'm wondering if I could sell it out front of your car dealership. She was like, yeah, you can do that. That's cool. And this is where the story takes a sad turn. We pack everything up. I have now invested in a cart, a pile of paperwork. I've gone to Costco. I've bought the biggest igloo coolers you can acquire, 1 million hot dogs, buns, 10 or 12 different ketchups and mustards. I mean, we're going to go shebang. We're going to make some money. And I pull out to the parking lot and I set the whole thing up and I open the umbrella, big colorful umbrella, a colorful red, yellow, green umbrella. We're standing there with our nice little aprons. I bought them a little too short, so I looked kind of sexy. And then nothing. And then silence. And then hour 2 of silence. And then hour 3 of silence. See, gentlemen, what I had forgotten was people aren't aimlessly wandering around parking lots waiting to buy a hot dog. Completely missed that in all the paperwork. We spent probably 4 or 5 hours baking in the sun outside of a car dealership, and we sold 1 hot dog to a friend of mine. And that was the only thing that we sold that entire day.
Yeah, so bad first outing at the hot dog stand.
Yeah. So you know how this podcast is a lot about flopped businesses? Technically, I didn't flop. I listed the entire business on Facebook that night. So my flop was not that the business failed. My giant flop was that I did everything wrong to start a business. I did everything wrong. I didn't plan for how to get customers. I got all the paperwork before I even sold a single thing. I never stopped to slow down and go, hey, does standing in the sun next to a boiling pot of steam suck all the time? Completely missed that. I had no backup locations. We had also really not invested in like what this whole thing looked like once it got together. We were so obsessed with 1-800 make a hot dog business. The good news.
We like good news.
I listed it on Facebook. It wasn't really that night, but it was within those days. A church contacted me and wanted to buy the whole thing for $3,000.
Oh,
okay.
Stocks go up, baby.
Correct. They do. As a business, I failed. But if you look at profits, and that's all the shareholders in my hot dog cart gave a crap about, if you look at profit margins, we were 200, 300 up, baby.
You're a business broker, Zach. That's really, this is the story of business brokerage.
Making money right from there. So I flopped at a business, but I didn't lose money.
Well, hey, that's the best kind of flop business. Learned a crap ton of lessons and hell, you made money at the end of it.
Hey, Zach, that day you were boiling in the parking lot, how many hot dogs did you and your wife eat?
Like 3. We went through the steps of creating a special sauce. It was like a chipotle aioli and sweet chili sauce. We spent like 4 days perfecting this. Again, never thinking who's going to buy this.
Right.
Well, we have to have a special sauce. Who's going to buy this? Let alone the fact that New York has thousands of vendors that not only don't have a special sauce, but they don't even want to talk to you half the time.
Did you sell the IP to the spicy chili sauce?
I did not. I should have. And ironically enough, now that I'm thinking about it, I never transferred all the paperwork. I just transferred the title. So he owns a hot dog cart with a logo that's registered to my name. And I never did anything but transfer the title to the trailer to him.
Oh, okay. So you sold the hot dog cart for $3,000. Is what it sounds like.
It was illegal until he filed the paperwork.
You did this. You built it, hoped that they would come, but could you do it again? Do you think you could successfully pull it off?
Yes, 110%.
How?
I have finished up selling advertising. I transferred to a software company where I learned a whole lot about marketing and bootstrapping and all these different things and drumming up people and getting to that point. I genuinely think that I could do it, fill it out, and see it through. The problem was we were under 30 and we had 2 kids. We wanted to make fast money.
Get rich quick.
We were smart enough to know that wasn't possible. You sort of get lost in that fog. Here's the thing. Like you could literally get a monkey to make a successful hot dog cart. It's just making sure that you see it through. And we kind of went up. And when it didn't pay out immediately, we were kind of like, jump ship.
Yeah. And then you also didn't meet people where they were looking to buy hot dogs either, right? I mean, hot parking lots, not the place.
In my head, you aren't walking up to a car dealership and you're like, man, I really wish that I could get a Jeep Wrangler and also a chili dog.
That makes sense. So I feel like with the hot dogs, it's less about the product, which typically is what we think of when it comes to businesses. It's more about where the product is, right? Because people, if they're eating a hot dog, they're not going to Zach and be like, oh, give me your most delicious hot dog. They're like, I'm freaking hungry. I need a meat stick and I need it to solve this issue for me.
Correct.
One other thing. How about the coach? Tell me more about this hot dog coach.
You wish I could find him. I'm actually going to open another tab and see if I could find him. It's from hotdogcartstore.com. Basically, it's full of clickbait. You can go on YouTube and they're all over the place. And it's always like how to turn $200 into $1,000. And here's the thing. If you stand in front of Home Depot on a Sunday and you had 2 hot dogs, a cookie, and a drink for $5, like it's a no-brainer. It would have happened instantaneously. It's just, I've got a $5 in my pocket. Here we go. And that's how they make the money. The reason that get rich quick scheme thing is so digestible is because like you can do the math and be like, yeah, I'd buy a hot dog for $5. Game on. The problem is you just forget all of the steps that are involved in actually building that business. But I think it's a bit of a misnomer. Like you really have to know how many people were genuinely going to walk into that Home Depot on that day. How much of that percentage was I going to really get? Let's say what? 1%? Let's be generous. It's Sunday. 5%.
Oh,
I never did that math. I didn't know because I got distracted like $1,000 every week. But it's like I lived in small town St. Augustine. There wasn't 1,000 people going into that Home Depot.
It's like the classic funnel fallacy. So, a lot of the coaches will say, oh, well, if you can get even 10% of people to buy your thing, then you got $100 from each person. It's $1,000 a month. It sounds, Zach, like you put the cart before the horse.
You went there.
I was going to drop the mic, but I figured it would probably not translate very well with the audio.
Yeah, I feel like entrepreneurs do that too. If we're just calling people out here, if we just get 1% of the market, that is a $10 billion market cap. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but how the hell are you going to get 10% of 1% of the market? Like, it's hard to do. Like, that's not easy. That's thousands and thousands of people. Thinking of percentages like that is make yourself fall into your own trap.
Yeah, it's like the first 100 are maybe not be hard to find, right? You find the first 100, you get 5 people to buy it from you. You're like, all right, now let's just go find another 100 people. And that's where the challenge comes in. There's
a lot of stories about like flopped businesses and, you got to fail and blah, 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 blah. But I've had a really grandiose idea that would cost millions of dollars to create. Essentially, making electric project cars. So, do you know what a kit car is?
Is that like a car you build yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've had a concept of making a small electric kit car. It was very changeable, very moddable, it was very creative, but it would take millions and millions to build this infrastructure. I think my experience flopping, not just at the hot dog cart, because I flopped before, makes me hesitant to go down that route. And I almost wonder, I would love to know the statistic of people that start a business and are just like through the roof, and how much that motivates you to just keep rolling those dice. I'm working with a kid right now out of Romania, and he started a company, and he literally has made $1 billion, and he is going to go to college a year early.
He made $1 billion and he's going to college?
Well, I don't know if it's $1 billion, but when you look at the company's called Ken.ai. Essentially, it's automated outreach, but super, super successful business. And, I wonder if people that hit it so young and are successful are then more willing to risk the flop versus all of us that flopped. And even though we're willing to get up and try again, there's still that little back of the head that's like, yeah, but don't risk too much there.
That hesitation's still alive and present. All right, so let's jump into our next segment, which is Find the Flop. So for people who haven't been watching or listening to us, Find the Flop is where you would typically get 4 businesses or products, find which one has failed, and if you do, you get a point. Yay, yippee skippy. However, we're going to do something slightly different today. Instead of finding the flop, we're going to find the success. So that means we have 3 flops, 1 success. Boys, are you ready?
Man, he's changing the game. Game on.
I would normally show the scoreboard, but since Bowman's not here, I guess, Zach, you can take my point. You can be Wes for this round.
Yes.
All right, so today's topic is on toys. I'm going to give you 3 that have done pretty poorly, and then 1 that actually is pretty dang successful. So here we go. Number 1, airport security playset. While many parents were able to easily explain to their children why they had to remove their shoes when walking through the metal detector, even the most articulate parents found this toy hard to sit with. Number 2, Dog E by Mint ID. Connect your robot dog to an app and discover its unique look and personality. Everyone's dog ID is a little different. Different eyes, different tongue, different tail, different bark, different character traits, and more. Number 3, Burger King Pokemon container. The toys were extracted from spherical Pokeball containers and put in children's mailboxes. The promotion was so successful that in 10 days into its 8-week run, Burger King was forced to do a full-page advertisement in major metropolitan newspapers to apologize for running out of the toys.
So definitely the flop.
And 4, Cabbage Patch Kids Snack Time Kids. In 1996, the Cabbage Patch Kids Snack Time Kids line rolled out. It came with plastic food that was hand-fed by the child into the doll's mouth, which featured a pair of one-way metal rollers behind its lips. Guys, which one was successful out of these 4?
I remember the Cabbage Patch Kids. They were kind of creepy, a little unsettling. I also think they were pretty popular too. So I'm not going to go for them. You also pretty much, unless it was a fake out, but you've told us that the Burger King Pokemon thing was so successful that they had to apologize. So I'm not going to go with that one. And everyone loves dogs. So what was the first one again? It was some kind of TSA pre-check or TSA toy.
The airport security playset is what you're thinking of, Tyler.
Are you specifically leaving out a brand name on that? Because I can visualize that, and I believe if you confirm what brand that toy was made by, I don't know if you can tell me that or not.
With my research, I did not see a brand name behind it.
Okay.
So if you're thinking Lego, I do not believe it was Lego.
Okay. So that we're on the same page. That Lego, there's a Lego airport set. I couldn't remember if it was a TSA.
I'm just imagining some little kids, like one kid putting his arm out and the other one's just furiously patting him down. I'm going to go with that. That's my flop.
So Tyler, you're finding the success.
Oh, shoot. I find the success.
Tyler, pay attention.
All right. I'm going Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, you think Cabbage Patch Kids
It's too obvious. The Burger King Pokemon is too...
could be a red herring?
I'm going Cabbage Patch.
Time out. How are we defining success?
3 of these had significant things happen to them that forced them to either be shut down or permanently canceled.
I'm going Pokeball, and I remember them. I remember everybody going like ridiculous for them. So I'm going to lean into Pokeball with the success, but I don't know how that would monetize. More Burger King kid sets or whatever those were called sold.
Mom, I want to go to Burger King. That's how it works.
What was the kids meal at BK? What is that called? So the Burger King Kid meal is called the King Junior, to which I reply, no, it's not. Because I was a child and I know 0 people that have ever said the words King Junior.
What a lost opportunity to call it like the Prince meal or something. Come on, BK. Okay, so Tyler, you have Cabbage Patch Kids. Successful brand. They can't flop. Zach, you're picking the Burger King Pokemon ball because who doesn't love Pokemon? Unfortunately, both Zach and Tyler are incorrect.
How?
Tyler, you were correct in calling out my bluff, which was the success amongst the Burger King Pokemon ball.
I know you.
Going into a little bit more detail, the Pokemon ball, although it was successful, it became a significant suffocation risk for children. Created a voluntary recall by Burger King to take them all back. So the Cabbage Patch Kids snack time playset had a roller mouth inside the mouth where they could feed plastic toys to these kids. But parents started getting a lot of complaints that hairs and fingers were getting stuck in these kids' mouths, calling for a recall of the Cabbage Patch Kids playtime.
You know what? It could have been worse. I just want to make it very clear that it could have been worse.
You're right. What else could you
Could have been worse.
Ooh. And the airport security playset, I think, was just wildly unpopular. What were they thinking? The successful one was the Dog E Mint, where you could personalize your dog. Kids love it. They like the uniqueness behind the toy.
That's crazy because I got so distracted when you said mint, and I was like, what does the tax company have anything to do with dogs?
So no change in the scoreboard here. We found the flop, but we didn't find the success. So we'll move on into our next segment. Let's do these quick hitter questions.
All right, Zach, let's bring us home here. I'm excited to ask this first question to a hot dog mogul. Question number 1. Zach, hot dog mogul. Is a hot dog in a bun a sandwich or not?
I'm going to throw a curveball. Open face sandwich.
Ooh.
Because I think you imagine the two being a sandwich, but it's actually connected.
The thing is like I get the logistics of this, and I've asked this question a few times, but culturally, it is not a sandwich. This is a culture question, so I disagree. I mean, I get it. There's bread, there's meat. It's a sandwich, but culturally, it is not a sandwich.
Did you just imply that vegetarian sandwiches are not sandwiches? I thought the show was PC.
My girlfriend is a vegetarian, so she might disagree with me. I'm going to go ahead and say they're alternative sandwiches. They're not real sandwiches.
Yeah! It's one alternative sandwich.
Question number 2. All right, Zach, if you were to become famous, who would play you in an upcoming documentary about a successful hot dog stand going big in New York City?
Zac Efron.
All right, sticking with the same name. I like that.
There was a reason, though, because during High School Musical, we had the exact same haircut. He just was a lot more muscular than me, which was kind of inappropriate for a guy being in high school that they were like, look at his abs.
Welcome to Disney.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Zach, if you were a pizza topping, what would you be?
I'm going to go left-hand field here. Meatball.
Ooh.
Very specific here. Not sausage.
But not like a Beyond Burger meatball.
I you know what? I'm a fan of Beyond Burger. I don't know where your hate's coming from.
I wasn't hating. I'm just clarifying. Okay. I was trying to be inclusive. I've already upset the vegetarian crowd. I was trying to win some points here. Okay.
Yeah. There goes 3 of our customers.
All right. Question number 4. What is the weirdest habit or thing that you do routinely?
I'm doing it right now. I hold hands with my toes. I grew up in Florida, so I was always barefoot. I tend to sit with like my foot in the chair, and I will tend to feed my fingers between my toes, and then obviously touch everybody in the face after.
The poster child for hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Last question. If you could bring any fictional creature into real life, what would it be?
I'm between Cusco from Emperor's New Groove Wally from, what was the name of that movie? Wally. Cusco.
I like that. Good answers. Good answers all around. Well done. Well done, Zach.
Was that 5?
That was 5. They were quick. They hit them. They're quick hitters.
All right, Zach. Well, I know you have a company right now. Kind of tell us a little bit where you guys are at currently and how you look to kind of grow this thing.
So I started a company accidentally helping overseas companies sell into America. What we do is we work with the website, their marketing verbiage, and then their sales, trying to make everything copacetic. Originally, it was for translations that kind of got lost. And then in turn, I got a call from there's a small motorcycle show. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Sturgis. And they were trying to reach a younger market. So I've now made a shift, and I am now helping any company looking to shift markets, be it across an ocean, be it an age gap, be it, a new market. Maybe we can get Tyler to like vegetarians. I don't know.
Impossible.
The company's name, totally impossible, is Doozy Brat, which is Duzybrat. It's Big Brother in Polish. Ironically enough, it was an LLC I owned before that because I'm the older brother, and it fit really well to being an older brother to companies trying to grow. And it's perfect for SEO because doozy in Polish has an umlaut above the Z. So when you just type it in normally, I own the entire page. Right now, doozybrat.com will help you move markets in any direction, no matter where you want to go, starting with your homepage and ending with your sales process.
Great pitch.
If people wanted to find out more about Doozy Brat, or, maybe they want to switch markets, where could they find you at, Zach?
The most active place that I am on right now, if you want to send me a direct message, is LinkedIn /Zach Janek. If you send it over to my website, there's a lot of information. There's ways to contact me, but a direct message to me on LinkedIn is usually the fastest way to get a conversation, just because I'm on there networking all the time.
Well, I'll put both your site and your LinkedIn profile in the description.
I appreciate that.
Well, hey, thanks for being on the show. It was great having you on, talking about some hot dogs, talking about how you've learned a bunch of lessons and how it was a flop, but, it kind of ended up working out in your favor.
Yep. It is. It's the most profitable flop I've had yet.
You almost failed. You failed upwards, Zach. Well done.
I did. And really, at the end of the day, the shareholders of the hot dog cart came out on top.
Well, everyone out there, our last plug, if you haven't yet, subscribe. If you like this kind of thing, that's the thing. Click the bell button, whatever platform you're using. But yeah, this is the flop. Everyone, take care.